We're here again, Glenn. It's
Live.
Thursday.
October the
Yeah,
29th.
27th.
27th.
You rested a little bit.
A couple more days.
October 27, 2022.
2022.
And we are live. We're in a different part of the house
This
today.
is setup today.
A
Yes.
different part of the house. We're just doing a little chit chat because we want our viewers to go ahead and get on with us. And we know that you all are out there. I'm always looking down at my phone, but that's just because I'm going to share my page once I get it up, and we want you to do the same. So, Dr. Warren, how was your week last week?
It was good. Good. I had a very, very, very good busy week last week.
And into this and part of this
And
week.
part of this week was busy. Today we had our fifth breakfast of our sponsor, and exciting. So we were late last night, up early first thing this morning, and
Let's even be a little more politically correct. It's our
fifth annual season of Thanksgiving and Appreciation Banquet.
So what does that mean?
For our donors, we want to show our appreciation and how much we appreciate them believing in us and showing seeds in us and giving us donations and to support the work that we do. And so in October, we came up with this idea 5 years ago to give them something to honor them. So we started at 7 o'clock in the morning, very early.
Yeah.
But we want people to be able to come to the breakfast and then go to work on time by 9 o'clock or 8:30.
Okay.
So we started 7 o'clock this morning, and we had a really good turnout. In fact, next year we're going to have to go to another venue because our room is a little too small.
Well, that's going to be challenging. And I mean, because we want that. We want to outgrow this room.
Yes.
And when we go somewhere else, we want to outgrow that too.
Yes.
So that's good.
So it was. It had some of our old partners who've been with us from the beginning,
right?
And some of our new partners who just got recently with us to come to kind of see what we're doing and hear what we're doing. So it's a really, really good time. It's very important to us that we do this every year, again, to show our donors what we're doing, how we're doing it, and give them an update of what we're going to be doing next year.
So hopefully some of this information will be posted on our newsletter.
Yes.
Especially some of our donors.
Yes.
I know that we could probably take up the whole time tonight if I were to mention each of their names individually.
Yes.
So we can't do that tonight. But we certainly will post it in our newsletter.
Yes, and on Facebook.
So that you'll
Instagram.
be able to see us.
Invite you to come and be a part of our partners and help us do the work that we know is so needed in this community.
Absolutely. I want to just welcome all of our viewers on board, and I'm going to let you know who this gentleman is next to me, not yet, but I'm going to bring him on shortly. But we're happy to be here, and we always invite our viewers to, if you're on Facebook, we want you to like our page and share it with your friends.
Yes.
And if you're on YouTube, we want you to subscribe
and like
and hit the little bell and then get the notification, and we will you will know every time we're on doing a live broadcast. Yes. So we welcome you all, and we have something interesting for you today, and that's why I wanted to share with you our guest. His name is Mr. Dwayne Williams. And good evening, Mr. Williams. And I'm going to let Dwayne say and tell us who he is and what he does.
Well, good evening. Thank you guys for having me on the show tonight. As again, my name is Dwayne Williams. I have been with Fathers Forever 5 years now. Ooh, thank you, Lord. And it's been a good journey. It's been a real good journey. I've started with them as a house monitor. I moved my way up into the management position, and I'm just really excited about what this program does and what it has to offer. Just a little bit about myself. I do have a bachelor's degree in psychology, and I have my master's in applied behavior science. I fill in wherever they need me to fill in at. I am like your go-to. You need something, I got you. And I really appreciate Glenn, Dr. Warren, for what he's doing in the community, building these guys, giving them structure, giving them a second chance in life, because we all need a second chance at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciate Fathers Forever for what they do.
Yes.
Yes.
And again, I know I wanted to tell our audience members we're in a different location. We're on the premises, but
yes, we had to. This is where we did the filming. I mean the Scream Yard.
For
the
breakfast, yes.
So we had to set up. This is where the breakfast. It's in our all-purpose room. Where we did the breakfast at this morning. So we had it all set up.
Yeah,
so we just decided
no need to tear it down.
Yeah,
right?
just tomorrow we tear it down and put it back in our studio. But today we just wanted to. We already had it set up, so we decided to do it for another location.
Sounds great. Sounds great.
And Mr. Williams has been, like you said, been with us for 5 years. When we first got our first transition home, 2017, Dwayne came and worked with us as a monitor. Mm-hmm. So he worked for another agency, then he switched over and started working with us, and we appreciate he brings value and his experience and his commitment and his love for our guys that we work with. It's very
that's right.
It's very if you're in this work, you're not in it for the money,
right.
But you're in it because you love to help people, and so we appreciate Dwayne for what he's been doing, what he brings to the table.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And being that we are in a different spot, we got to look at our camera, because normally we have our video monitor up or TV monitor up so we can see ourselves and get cues as well. So if you have something to say to us, put it in the chat, and maybe we can get someone to let us know you're there. If you've got any questions about the content that we're going to have tonight, always just put it in the chat and we'll try to get to you. But we also want to just do a shout out to our friends, and we invite you to say hello to us.
Yes.
And, we'll recognize you, and, happy that you're sharing with us as well as being here. We definitely want you to share this with your friends, though.
Yeah. Call a friend.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Dr. Warren, I understand that you and Mr. Williams and one other person went on a trip last week, and we missed you. So just need you to know that we actually shared a rebroadcast. We rebroadcasted one of our previous broadcasts. I kind of screwed that all up, but anyway, we're happy to be here.
Yes.
And have you back safe and sound, as well as Dwayne, yourself, and Miss Angela.
Yeah.
All three of you went, and so where did you go?
Well, we went to since our first inaugural conference in Bethesda, Maryland.
Okay.
It was a reentry conference in our WC.
Now, I know that acronym. It's National Reentry Workforce Collaboration.
Yes.
And that's a mouthful.
Yes.
But our program tonight is going to be to just give our viewers a little bird's eye view of what you all saw.
Yeah.
And what you took away from being there.
Yes.
So we appreciate you going and representing. So was it just North Carolina people there, or?
No, it was people from all of the United States, Colorado,
great.
New York, Jersey, Pennsylvania, a lot. A lot of the work of reentry is picking up a lot of steam.
Okay,
it's picking up, and this is the first one on a national level,
right?
That they're put together, and I think the next year is going to be in Philadelphia.
Great.
But it was a power-packed conference.
Mm-hmm.
We started at 7:00 in the morning. They had breakfast down there at 7:00 in the morning, and I didn't go back to my room until about 6:00 at night.
Wow, that's
we had
schedule.
Lunch. It was powerful just to network with people and talking with people. And they had good workshops. Sometimes debating. I want to go to this workshop, but I want to go to that workshop.
Right.
So we all had to split up to go to different workshops to kind of get some different things of what we could bring back home.
Mm-hmm.
And we brought back a lot of stuff we brought back home, and we're going to implement it.
Okay.
In the next few few weeks.
Okay.
Because there's some good stuff. We'll get into the more details about that.
Okay.
But it was a good conference, and like I said, the workshop was powerful. Sometimes when you're doing this work, and Dwayne can contest to this, it kind of like you feel like you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah.
You're the only one that's kind of,
Right.
wrestling with this, what do you want to call it? But you realize that it's not
these challenges.
These challenges, yeah. But you realize that you're not. That there's other organizations out there similar to ours, obviously called different, different from Father Forever, but doing the same kind of work.
Right.
Maybe a little differently than we're doing it. We're doing it differently than they're doing it, but it's the same kind of work. It's working with reentry and helping men get back into their lives.
Perfect.
So there was a lot of women there because it wasn't just about men. It was about reentry, period. And so it was very, very.
Okay. So I'll tell you what. Hold on. I know you're ready to go. But we also want to talk about what is reentry and those types of things, so that everyone will have some idea of what we're talking about.
Yes.
But before we go any further, we have a new message from our founder.
My dad, and he took care of us all of his life. I'm a retired social. And now a lot of my clients that came to me didn't come to us with their dad. These guys are grown now.
I'm not sure what might be going on with it, but if this is a brand new message, so if we don't show it tonight, we will certainly have it ready to be viewed next week. I thought this was rather unique.
Yes.
And I said to Glenn, when did you do that one? And so it shows the dean of students don't know everything. He doesn't know everything. So,
yeah, we did that one. I don't know if the team has got it. We did that video actually Sunday. Well, they put it. They came together week before last, and got some footage. And last week while we was out of town, they came out and got some more footage, and they put it together. And we can. I can announce New Hope Church out of Durham, North Carolina, has really become one of our partners, one of our sponsors, and they decided to give us a nice donation of a $10,000 check in connection with the Durham Bulls. So about a month ago, we went to the Durham Bulls game, and we received a big $10,000 check, and with a connection with the Durham Bulls and the church. And then, but this particular Sunday, they came and actually gave us the real check.
Oh,
in front of the congregation.
So you had, like, when you win the lottery, you show your name and you hold up the sign.
Yeah, that was about a month ago.
Okay.
And this past Sunday, I had the opportunity to go to the church, both services, and they presented me the check.
Well, that's wonderful.
So we would shout out to New Hope Church
in Durham, North Carolina.
Yeah, in Durham, North Carolina. And they put together a little video.
Okay.
And that's what we was going to show.
So that's what we have to show.
Yeah, we'll show that next week. We're going to get it right back in our studios.
Yep.
But it was a nice little video about what we was doing. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them.
Great. Well, I'm going to tell you what. Since we won't do the commercial or the new message from our founder, we'll skip forward. And Dwayne and Glenn, as we continue to look into that camera, because the TV's not here, so we definitely want to look into the camera.
It's kind of hard looking at the camera when I'm talking to y'all.
Right. But tell us, what is reentry? What does that mean to you, Dwayne?
Reentry means to me, gentlemen returning back into society, coming from incarceration. It could be coming from prison. It could be coming from jail. It could be coming from a mental institution. But it's reacclimating themselves back into the community, getting their feet wet, getting grounded, and connecting with their families again and the community as a whole.
So I know that our viewers will see Mr. Dwayne is nothing but the truth. He's very articulate, and thank you. We're going to hear more from Dwayne, but I'm going to switch over here to Dr. Warren. What does reentry mean to you?
Yeah, the same thing. That the definition, again, guys and women for that matter, that are coming back to the community from incarceration.
Okay.
For short term, long term. Sometimes when they come back in, they are faced with a whole lot of more challenges than they did, depending on how long they were gone.
Right.
But they come back if they don't have a good environment to go to, a good home to go to. Sometimes being discharged back to the community that they lived in could be problematic for them because they're back now with their friends, the same circumstances, some places where there's no jobs, and they end up falling back into the life that they lived before. And so reentry and it's been beginning to set up across the state of North Carolina. Cities, towns are having reentry work and things that help people who are returning back to the community.
So this is a new term then. Instead of saying halfway houses and things of that nature. I mean, we're really embracing doing more than just, okay, so an individual served their time and now you think, okay, everything's all good, but we know for a fact that it takes steps to become whole again.
Yes. So the reentry is in the whole is guys returning back. A lot of times these individuals are experiencing with mental illness, substance abuse, and so they have a lot of other issues that they get that they're facing. Being in prison itself is could be dramatic.
Yes.
That alone is dramatic.
Right.
So if you didn't have one when you went in, you may have one when you come out.
Right.
Because it's a lot of mental stuff that you got to deal with. So we have provided a lot of services for them, and what we're doing and what I'm seeing across the state now because of this conference, there's a lot of other states, a lot of other cities are doing the same thing with people who are coming out reentry. So as a whole, reentry is helping people who are returning back
to
from
the
community. But ours, particularly because we have we do a lot of services with them. They don't. We just don't provide a place for them to stay at.
Right.
We provide services, classes, substance abuse classes, anger management classes, family reunification classes. We help them find jobs. So we're not just a transition place for just to hold them, house them for 90 days. We actually do a lot more with that. Refer them to different services, substance abuse classes as well. So it's a lot.
Since I wear one hat, I must shout out to what we do when it comes to our fatherhood program.
Yes.
And we get surprised every week when someone says, I didn't realize that, I didn't see it that way, I didn't know this information.
Right.
But by them attending our curriculum or being involved with our curriculum and being there for the coursework, they come out better than they did going in.
Right.
With information to move forward.
Yes.
And so we definitely want to give a shout out to the university.
Yes.
Fathers Forever University.
Yes. So which is another thing we teach them is a lot of parenting classes.
Yes.
Yeah. So so our reentry is very we call it reentry, but it's a lot more to that.
Right.
Because we are doing a lot more than just housing them in a house.
Absolutely. So what I'm going to do now is ask both of you what were 3 takeaways that impressed you the most from the conference. And Glenn, if you don't mind, I will start with Mr. Dwayne Williams first. They're going to give us 3 items each, and we're going to alternate between them.
Right.
So, Dwayne, what was your first one that you wanted to tell us about your takeaway?
My first takeaway from this wonderful conference was that it was so many people across the United States going through some of the similar struggles that Fathers Forever goes through with funding, drugs, housing, you name it. We're all, it seems like we're all speaking the same language, which was very encouraging to me because sometimes I feel like we're on this island by ourselves and we're surrounded by all water and we got on this tiny island and nobody understands what we're going through. But after listening to the various agencies and their struggles, it just amazed me. And what I took away from Fathers Forever, some programs just deal with housing. Some programs just deal with the drug and alcohol issue. Some programs just deal with the family reunification issue. But what I loved about us is that we are like a holistic. We're dealing with that whole individual. Not saying that we're better than anybody
right,
else.
but it's just what we do.
It's just what we do.
Yeah.
And there are some interesting programs that I really thought from California. They kind of blew my mind, the Latino community out there. So that was my first impression.
Okay.
From the conference.
All right, Mr. Glenn, Dr. Glenn, what's your first takeaway?
Okay, so one of our takeaways was it's something that we've been kind of dealing with ourselves. It's the name of the population that we're dealing with.
Okay.
We call them participants. Sometimes we call them clients. Now they've changed the name to just to serve individual. And I think now they're changing it to returning citizens, and finding that middle ground where everybody kind of agree on. It's been kind of challenging.
Yeah.
Because we was at one of the workshops, and we had a lot of former incarcerated people that was a part of this conference. They was invited as well to have a voice in what we're trying to do is to serve them.
Right.
So one guy was like, "Just call me John. This way you got to call me something." And I wanted to say, okay, we can't. If people ask me what is the population I work with, and I say John, that's not.
It's not enough.
It's not describing who I work with. I mean, I if I work with Boy Scouts, then I could say I work with Boy Scouts.
Right.
If I work with I don't know, people with substance abuse problem, I could say but I work with people who are all of those things. They have substance abuse issues, and they had they are some mental health issues, and they're returning. So, what is the proper term that we use for the individual? And one guy said, "I don't like just to serve because I felt like justice wasn't served in my place, in my case."
Yes.
And then the one guy said, "Well, I don't like returning citizens. So what am I returning from?" So it's that balance now that we've got to try to find, and it's going to change, I guess, until
it's going to take time.
Yeah, it went from convicts, that's a bad word, to inmates, that's a bad word, to clients, to participants, and to now just to serve individuals or returning citizens. I'm not sure which one is the latest.
Right. And I think it will probably be found. That name the correct name, or not correct, but the name that
the majority of people
ultimately gets chosen will probably be sufficient.
Yeah.
Because I know with the recovery movement, they did a lot with the stigma associated with, instead of calling people drug addicts,
right.
You call them substance use. They have a substance use disorder.
Yes.
I mean, but that does make a difference.
Yes.
Especially when someone goes to court.
Yes.
And, if someone's there saying he's an addict, no, he has a substance use disorder.
Yes.
So we're trying to hit these things in a better way, put things in a better light. So, I like that. I like that.
Right.
So, I'm getting ready to give you a new title. Mr. Williams.
Well, if I could piggyback on what Dr. Warren was saying, I don't think in the reentry in this big community that is such a wide community that we're going to ever find that one word that everyone's happy with. Because in that work group that we're sitting in, we have formed a work group that will be working outside of the conference. Everybody that wanted to join could join. But it was like he said, the one guy, I'm not a returning citizen. I never lost my citizenship. The one young lady, she said, well, in prison, I was a number. I didn't have a name. Then other justice impacted, justice served, this and that. And at one point, I was thinking, I don't care. I want to get the services to you.
Right.
I don't care if they call you Bill or Sue or whatever. As long as we can get the services and I can get you back into the community as a productive citizen rather than a citizen that has the spotlight on them.
Right.
Well, we want to stop real quick and give a shout out to Desmond
Ellis.
All right.
Yes, he's the guy that he knows very Father Forever very well.
Okay.
For another program that we work with, he worked with us.
And then I have one other person, Robert Ashburn.
Robert Ashburn, that's from the great state of New York.
Okay.
By way of Albany. So
right.
Thanks, Robert, for tuning in and listening to our broadcast today.
So we welcome any of our other electronic media is a blessing.
Yes.
I'm looking at my phone, so if anybody wants to know why is he looking down, that's how I got the message. I got the message. Yes. But anyway, so Dwayne, give us your second takeaway.
The second takeaway was the funding that is out there available for nonprofits. And I was basically constantly listening to the nonprofit portion of those different funding. And so there's a lot of funds out there that we didn't know about.
Wow.
And we have brought them back, and we're going to try to access some of those grants that the federal government has for us that we really, we probably knew, but it's so cumbersome. As we were talking to the head of the DOJ, Mr. Andre Bethea, he gave me and my colleague, Ms. Angela, the rundown on how these grants are supposed to be written, what they're looking for in the grants, and how to actually get the funds for it. And then the federal government has a 3-part grant. So, once again, that's not my wheelhouse. So when they got to start technically, I'll let Mrs. Hawkins run with that. But it was just the money that's available that we really didn't know about.
Right. Yeah.
And it could really go a long way. When the man said he had over $900,000 to shell out, look, my ears
perked up.
They perked up. I'm like, we can use that for us.
All right. Okay, Dr. Warren, we're gonna make this a little faster. Yeah, But your second takeaway.
It's the same struggle that we've kind of struggled with is employment issues.
Okay.
There's a big need for employment and training. As we know, there's a whole lot of training going on in prisons, and that's another story that they're trying to work on getting that. Along with that is the ID problem that we're having when clients are getting out, participants are getting out.
Yes.
Our returning citizens are getting out. To have their ID, which kind of can hinder their employment. So getting the ID is one thing, but coming out now and finding good employment that they could survive in their families. And that's one of the things why we started our staffing agency.
Yes.
Because our guys would get up early in the morning and go to staff zone and be there for 5 o'clock in the morning and may not get chosen.
Right.
So we decided to create a staffing zone that was really focused on our guys, and we got to get back to that we're going to focus on our guys first before we focus on the 36 guys we have. We're going to focus on getting them employed and helping them stay and doing case management with them.
Yes.
So we were talking to other agencies like that. When I was sharing with them that concept, they're like, "Wow, that's a good concept."
Right.
Because we have to be hands-on with them.
Yes.
And we could go out to other individuals, but where our focus now is going to be on our clients, the 36 beds that we have, and getting them employed and helping them get better jobs and preparing them.
And I like
so that's kind of how we're going to shift that back to where we're going to be and really focus on our guys. We could branch out and get other guys later on, but now this focus is them. Yeah. Because we're responsible for the 36 beds that we have, and we want to make sure these guys don't have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and not be chosen. Absolutely. And so we're going to plug them into jobs that have, longevity. So when they leave us in 90 days, they can roll over and work with these companies on a full-time basis with benefits. Yes. Helping them find good. I mean, working at McDonald's, working at Hardee's, that's all well and good. But if we can find them a living wage, and or send them to NC Works to get them some training that they can do while they're there. So that's gonna be kind of our focus. And that employment is a big, because 90 days is not a whole lot. No, 120 days is not a whole lot. But if we could prepare them and give them a foothold on a good job, that's gonna be a good thing for them.
Perfect. And Mr. Williams, your last takeaway.
My last takeaway. I think I was really impressed with the Latino Coalition, who actually helped sponsor the conference. They were gold member status. And my impression with them is that they are, so I was talking to a few of the directors in Colorado. They've opened up their own credit services
Wow.
for the guys. They open up their own cars. They have their own car, and I was trying to remember the name of that car that they were giving their residents. But I was really impressed with how they're using their dollars, but they were impressed with Fathers Forever, because one thing that they were really concerned about was jobs. They say, getting a job is the hard part. They said, but it seems like you guys have solved that. I said, well, we have and we haven't. I said, well, we are a long ways from where we came, because just for instance, one of our contractors would Go Triangle. I know a lot of people out there who want to work for Go Triangle.
Yeah.
And our guys are going in there and they're doing a bang-up job. They're doing such a bang-up job, they're talking about giving them raises.
Wow.
They didn't just talk about it, they did.
And the word bang-up is a positive word.
Oh, yeah.
I just wanted y'all to know that. It's doing a yeoman's job, definitely.
Yeah. And it's, getting a job is one thing. Helping them maintain that job is another whole story. And having the staff to provide that support with them. Because sometimes they do relapse.
Yes.
Sometimes they do run into things and they just don't call in. And sometimes we don't know about it for a couple of days and they end up losing their job. That's why we're going to have to tighten up the reins and make sure the case management piece is intact. So when they do, and they will, they're going to stumble.
Yes.
But we're going to make sure that when they do stumble, we can't save all of them, but we're going to save a number of them.
We're going to pick up as many as we possibly can.
So when they stumble, we're going to say, okay, dust yourself off, get back up and get back on that job. And we're going to advocate for the employer to give them opportunity. And we've done that on several occasions. And the guys have gotten the job back. So we're going to do more of that in the next coming weeks, coming months. That's going to tighten up our employment. Because that's a very, very, very important piece when they're getting out in 90 days, 120 days to find their way back in the community.
And one of the things they talked about in the conference as far as the job issues, some of our guys don't realize what it means to go to work on time.
Yes.
Getting to work on time, coming in properly dressed in your uniform,
yes.
Knowing how to communicate with people on your job and your supervisors and stuff. And those are the pieces I think that we pull from the conference that we're going to start implementing into our guys. Like one thing we do that's different from anybody else, we provide transportation. We're providing transportation, taking them to work and picking them up in some instances. Some instances we're making them use public transportation. But some instances is so far, we need to get them there and get them back and make sure that they're safe.
That's perfect. I like that.
So that's So how much time are you on your phone when you're working? Those are the things that we're going to really be talking about.
And these are work ethics.
This work ethics. We're going to start working on.
So we hope our viewers enjoyed some of what was had at the conference. We've got so much more to share about this, and so much to share about some of the goals that were met from last year this time to the present. From 2021 October to September 2022, and we'll share those as well. But Dr. Glenn, we would like for you to take us home.
Take us home. Well, this Thursday afternoon, October the 27th. We want to wish everybody a happy Halloween. If there's such a thing.
Happy Harvest Fest.
Happy
Harvest Fest.
Be safe. Keep your kids safe. Enjoy the trick-or-treaters or the trunk-or-treats, whatever you want to call it, and just make sure everybody is safe and enjoy your family and, dress up or whatever your little costumes and just have a good time. But enjoy yourself, and most important, be safe.
Well, I also wanted to thank Mr. Williams for taking time out of his busy schedule to be with us tonight. So we welcome you, and we would like to have you back again.
I really appreciate this, guys. And if I can, I will share this on my platform also. Dr. Warren was the first guest on my show called Straight Talk. And I'm going to share this on my platform because I want my viewers to know about Fathers Forever and start tuning in to your show.
Great. Well, thank you for coming. And Dr. Warren, I'm thanking you for all that you do.
And we thank you for being the moderator. You're getting pretty good at this stuff.
Well, thank you, sir. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you all next week.
Have a good night.